Hi, my name is Amber. Welcome back to my channel, Books and Beaches. So I can't believe it, but today I come to you with my December wrap up. December actually turned out to be quite a good month. I'm looking at my list here, and my reading started out super slow in December. Did I just say November? Anyway, my reading started pretty slow in December. I had a slow month in November, so I am very, very pleasantly surprised with where my month ended up. I actually read 11 books this month, which is amazing. Now, my winter break definitely helped with that, but let's take a look at what I read during this month. So the very first book that I finished, and actually this was like the very first day of December, was Hide by Kiersten White. This was just all right. I gave this a generous 2.5 stars. It could have been so much more, and I kind of knew that going into this from other books or other people that have read this book. A bunch of people are called to an amusement park, and it's kind of a whoever can hide the longest, like a hide and go seek kind of thing, wins. And they go back to like a base camp every night. And people just start disappearing and they don't know where they're going. And there's some really like creepy elements to it, but it fell short in my opinion. So pick that one up if you shall wish. But the next one I've already talked about, and this was part of my 5-star predictions that I did with Sarah and Lindsay, and that was The Winter People by Jennifer McMahon. I was able to do a buddy read of this with Sarah at Sarah's Nightstand and Audrey from Chapter and Converse, and I quite enjoyed it. I gave this one 4.5, and if you kind of wanted to know some of my deeper thoughts, go check out that other video. I'll link it below. But I quite enjoyed this. The creep element is here. There was just something, and I still can't put my finger on it, on why I gave it a 4.5 instead of a 5, but quite enjoyed it. Jennifer McMahon is kind of known for always having some like paranormal or ghosty elements to her books, and this one did not disappoint. After that, I took a little bit of a break for my 5-star predictions that I needed to finish, and I picked up The Family Game by Catherine Steadman. This was fantastic. I have read one other book by Catherine Steadman, and that is Something in the Water, and I enjoyed that one. I think I gave it a 4. This one is 5 stars. Perfect time to read it. And actually Lindsay from Lindsay's Little Library kind of talked me into it after seeing her post updates. It basically happens between Thanksgiving and Christmas, so it was very time appropriate. And this woman is kind of going to be marrying into this family, but they're kind of crazy. Like, this story, they celebrate Krampus, which I had to do some like researching on what Krampus was. And that part of the story is just so creepy. But they have rules for this family, and it says this right on the flap. It says the rules: listen carefully, do your research, trust no one, and run for your life. And yeah, this book took me for a wild ride. 5 stars for sure. I really enjoyed it. The next one I picked up, I also talked about in my 5-star prediction wrap up, and that was The Wicked Sister by Karen Dean. I love this one as well, and it was such a surprise because I was not a huge fan of The Marsh King's Daughter, but I loved this one. Twisted. One of the main characters is a psychopath, and some of the stuff she did as a young child and things to her sister are nuts, which is probably very insensitive to say, but it was so good. Yeah, it's on the back here. It says a terrifying thrill ride of psychological suspense. I don't think I could describe it any better than that. So good. 5 stars for sure. The next one I picked up, I don't have a physical copy of. I listened to Talk Santa to Me. This was one I found on Scribd, and I was just in the mood for something holiday-ish. Just a kind of a cute YA kind of romance. Her family basically owns like a Christmas shop. The main character's name is like Frankincense, but I think they call her Francie or Frankie, I can't remember. And yeah, there's just some like cute, I don't know, it was just kind of holiday fluff. So I gave that one a 3. It was a timely read. So nothing special. The next one I picked up was actually on my Kindle. It was an ARC that I had from NetGalley that I failed to read before the date that it came out. And that was Ive Survived by Holly Jackson. This one is another YA, and I gave this one 4.5 stars. You basically start out and there are 6 individuals who are taking a road trip down to actually Gulf Shores, Alabama, which is the beach area that has my heart and almost the deciding factor of my YouTube books and beaches part. It is, but unfortunately, they don't exactly make it there. They get stuck on some like back roads and their tires are flat and things start happening. And it was a wild ride for sure. Was it perfect? No. Was it kind of predictable? Sure. But it definitely kept me guessing and it kept me hooked. So 4.5 stars for sure on that one. The next one I picked up was one that I think I had from Kindle Unlimited. I had this one on my Kindle as well, and that was Resting Scrooge Face. I actually did not realize that this was just a short story, and it's a very predictable, very holiday-based cheesy romance, and it's like 80 pages long. So I gave it a 3. It was just kind of blah. It was 2 people that are exes that move, the woman moves back to that same hometown, and I mean, you can predict what's going to happen, and it's 80 pages. So anyway, the one I picked up after that, I actually started this one on Christmas Eve, and that was Skipping Christmas by John Grisham. I guess this is the book that inspired Christmas with the Cranks, which now that I think about it, I don't know if I've ever watched that whole movie. And this book is basically about a couple that their daughter ends up going to be part of the Peace Corps, and they don't think she's going to be home for Christmas. And so they decide they're not going to do Christmas at all, and they're going to go on a cruise instead, like a 10-day cruise. And I was like, yeah, that's like right up my alley. I love a good cruise. And they're getting a lot of grief from their neighborhood and whatever. And this is a spoiler, so I will warn you. Their daughter ends up coming home, and so they have to scramble to like make Christmas what she's used to. And at the end of it, I put the book down and I was like, I would have taken the cruise. So that's my spoiler for that one. I gave this one a 3. It was cute. It was short. It was a good Christmas read, but I would have taken the cruise. Next, I picked up the second book in the Winter in Paradise series by Ellen Hilderbrand, and that is What Happens in Paradise. The first book was my 3rd book in the 5-star predictions that I did with Sarah and Lindsay, and I knew I wanted to continue the story. I gave the first one a 4. I also gave this one a 4. I don't want to give too much away because this is the second book, and actually currently I have picked up the 3rd book. Because I'm just looking forward to finishing the series. But long story short, a woman finds out that her husband has died in a helicopter crash in the British Virgin Islands, and they're heading down to St. John to kind of figure out what's going on. And you're getting multiple different perspectives between this woman, her 2 sons, and a couple people that live on the island. And I don't want to give too much away because that would just give away the whole story, but I'm enjoying it. I gave this one a 4. Like I said, I gave the first one a 4. And it's just kind of a good, like, easy, romantic-ish, but more chick lit kind of read. After that, I picked up The Villa, and this one is by Rachel Hawkins. This one actually, I think the release date is today, the day I'm filming, and that's January 3rd. And this is her newest release, obviously. And you're getting multiple different perspectives about this villa in, oh gosh, now I want to say Italy, but it might be France. I don't have my Kindle with me. I'm sorry. But 2 different perspectives of the past timeline at this villa where we know some murders had taken place, as well as the current timeline of these 2 friends who are both writers, they write in different genres, are taking to this villa. And these 2 girls kind of start looking into what happened in the past of things that have happened at this villa, while also trying to figure out what they're going to write next. So I don't want to give too much away, but this one definitely kept me kind of on a wild ride. I didn't know what was coming next. And I don't know, parts of the story were just super twisty. So I gave this one a 4. I really enjoyed it. I would recommend it, and I can't wait to see what other people think about it after it comes out today. And the very last book that I picked up, I squeezed this one in right on December 31st, and that was Have I Told You This Already by Lauren Graham. And this one I listened to because Lauren Graham narrates it herself. And if you don't know, Lauren Graham was the main character on Gilmore Girls. She played Lorelai, as well as, I cannot remember what her character's name was in Parenthood, but I loved both of those shows. And this is her second book, just kind of telling like short stories of her life. And it's just kind of a happy, palate cleansing audiobook. I mean, you could read the physical book too, but I liked the audiobook. And it's just a whole bunch of different stories about living in New York and living in LA and in different parts of her acting career and her life growing up. And it was just kind of a nice, fun audiobook to end my year with. So those are all 11 books that I read in the month of December. Have you read any of these books before? Any books that you picked up in the month of December that you really liked? I would love to hear about it in the comments below. As always, if you like this video, feel free to like and subscribe, and I will see you next time.